Dear Drakes and Nesses, allow me to welcome you to Titan Quest. This is Gameplay Dragon flying into the very first video. We'll be going through the entire game, hopefully having fun, experiencing the lore of this rather old game. It actually got well, sort of a re-release called the Anniversary edition, because it came out on the 10th anniversary of the game's release, so this game has been out for more than 10 years. It has been upgraded in terms of graphics, some balance issues were addressed, bugs, fixes, this sort of things. And now I'm going to be playing through the story. It's rather interesting. The thing that's most interesting for me is the fact that this game is set in the mythologies of ancient Greece, Egypt, later also I'm not sure if it's China or Japan, I'm a bit ignorant in those areas, but the Far East mythologies as well. And this Anniversary edition includes the expansion, which adds a fourth act, which I never played before, so that part will be totally blind. Otherwise, this game is a hack and slash, really reminiscent of Diablo 2, although I know this might sound a bit odd. For me personally, it's better than Diablo 2 simply due to several mechanical advantages that this game offers that Diablo 2 lacked. So without further ado, let us start the game with our character and let's see what we've got.
One day, the sun will dim and spread a shadow over the earth. Temples, which have stood forever, will be destroyed. The heavens will vanish, and the gods will fall upon the earth. One day the weak will have power over the strong. The poets will stop singing and instead take up the sword. It is in these darkest times that the strongest of heroes are born.
So there is a little backstory. As we all know, every RPG lore fantasy game has to basically start with "you are the chosen one", so that's obviously what our character will be. We are this little dude. We have nothing aside from a sword, copper knife, even better. There will be some tutorials. I will be skipping those because basically they teach us what we can do, but I don't really need those. It's been a long time since I played this game, but I do remember a lot of it. And besides, it plays like any old RPG hack and slash dungeon crawler kind of game. There is a bit of a twist. This game gives a lot of customization options in terms of skills. I don't like that this audio is kind of stuttery. I might have to...
They're going to kill my horse.
Yeah, you know what? I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and basically I had to tweak my recording settings and visual options a bit. I still see a bit of stutter, but I guess we'll go with it for now. I might need to tweak them a little more if it gets too obvious. The game, I believe, equips us if we have an empty slot, but doesn't change our weaponry unless I choose to, even if it's what we get is better. Otherwise, if you have played Diablo 3, then you will click a lot more in this game, since every piece of equipment you loot you have to pick up manually, while Diablo 3 has many improvements in this area, whereas you can pick up gold just by walking over it. And obviously you can also, I believe, gather numerous items and consumables at the same time if they're the same. But yeah, that's because this game is very old. Even though it got the re-release, then it still stayed mostly the same.
Hello, I am Aeson,
Here we have a bit of a backstory. Basically,
what's the use?
we got off our boat and suddenly we're in the middle of some kind of an attack on this village. This rebirth fountain is basically our checkpoint. If we die, I don't remember any... I believe there are some penalties for dying, but basically when you die you respawn at the last visited rebirth fountain.
Hello, stranger. I'm Diomedes.
Here is a guy who tells us...
Do you mean to say that you fought your way here? If that's true, then please, I beg of you, we need your help. Monsters led by...
Yeah, basically he says about the problems of the village, that they have been attacked, and since we made it so this far, he asks us to help.
Lies on the other side of the river, just over this bridge.
I don't remember I could do that, or maybe I couldn't in the earlier games. I believe I couldn't. Cool. Camerism will probably come in handy later on. For now, here is a merchant. We can sell something, we can buy some things. Let's buy ourselves a better weapon, just because. And any remaining gold I will purchase a few potions, just to have. This is a stash, I believe. Basically you can store your items here. Expand storage, yeah, you can expand your area here. And transfer area, leave and pick up items to and from your other local caches. Yeah, so basically you can leave more powerful items that your, let's say, class or level can't use, or no longer want an item you no longer want to use. You can leave it here for another character on your account to pick up later. Now I will be going over here to this portal to activate this portal. Basically this will let me fast travel here later. And now we'll be going through the first area, so to speak. There are some, yeah, satyrs, scouts, beastmen, basically your first enemies. So you don't regenerate any health unless you use a potion, which I have to remind myself. Oh, okay. There are a couple of shortcuts aside from the numerical keys you can use. For example, E is an energy potion, I believe, and R is drink your health potion. You automatically drink the most powerful potion you have, I believe. At the bottom there you can see our XP counter fill up. Once it will fill up, you can choose a mastery. Basically, rather than have a class-based... I will let you read it if you're interested. Rather than have a class-based division of characters, you choose masteries that are basically classes, but a bit more focused, so to speak. There isn't a mage class, but there are a couple of elemental classes. There is a spirit mastery that is basically a necromancer. There is a nature master, which is more of a druid kind of guy. There is a bunch of masteries. I think there are 8, or there were 8, and now there are 9, because the expansion, the Immortal Throne, is also included in the Anniversary Edition. Overall, the Anniversary Edition is a very nice touch from the developers. Basically, on the 10th anniversary of the game, they released an Anniversary Edition of Titan Quest, which anyone who already had the basic version of Titan Quest automatically gained for free, and for I think week or 2 weeks the game was on a massive discount for everyone else. So it's a very nice touch from the developers, very nice of them to do that. A game like this deserves all the recognition, and the developers definitely deserve the money they make on the game. So giving it away for free for those who already bought the old version, even without the expansion, and you get the expansion with this anniversary version, it just really appreciated. So yeah, here we got a few potions. I will level up shortly, probably after killing those guys. Yeah, here we go, level 2. And I will back off to show you a bit of the leveling system and so on. So basically, here you develop your character. You can increase your health, energy, which is your mana, you use that for various skills. Strength, intelligence and dexterity influence your resistances, secondary attributes like health regeneration, energy regeneration, offense, defense and so on. Plus, yeah, here you can see required strength and required dexterity. Basically, you have to have a certain amount of statistics in order to wield certain items. But that's a very, let's say, secondary way to influence your character. The primary way in which you will create and customize your character in terms of skills and classes is the skills window, which looks like this. You have to choose a mastery, and as you can see there is a bunch of masteries. Each is wildly different from everyone else's. They are kind of paired in the sense that there are almost always 2 masteries that are kind of similar but look at the same class in a different way. So for example, here is Storm and Earth are basically your main elemental magic classes, but while Earth is more concentrated on fire, and sometimes earth, basically rocks, avalanches, this sort of thing, while Storm focuses on electricity and snow and ice, a little bit more crowd control because you can obviously slow and stun your enemies. Earth will let you fire, set them ablaze, so you deal some damage over time. Another pair is Warfare and Defense, which are your most basic warrior masteries. Basically, Warfare is an offensive skill, are offensive skills, and Defense are defensive skills, obviously. Another pair is Spirit and Nature, which are this sort of take on a summoner or a more control kind of mage. So Spirit is basically your necromancer. You summon undead, you drain your enemies, there are some curses, there are some AoE, fear effects, so on and so forth. And Nature is more healing, defensive, buffing yourself, and you can also summon a few allies to help you. Then Hunting and Rogue are another pair, which is basically a more, let's say, specialized class, in the sense that Warfare and Defense is basically just left click to kill an enemy, and there are some upgrades to your left clicking, but otherwise it remains basically the same. Rogue and hunting are more skill focused, so you have to use your skills in order to be actually efficient at killing enemies. Rogue is more stealthy, weaker, close range, fast attack, poison focused, while hunting is basically long ranged, so spears, bows. I don't think there are crossbows in the game, but basically a ranged dude that focuses on killing enemies from afar or trapping them, disabling their ability to come close to you. And lastly, the mastery that comes with the expansion is Dream, which I never used before. As I said, I never played the expansion before, so I just thought that let's throw ourselves at something new, something unknown. And while I remember that my favorite way to play the game in the past was to go either warfare and defense and just be this kinda melee destroyer, kinda warrior who just goes through everything. And another time I remember playing nature and earth, because I didn't mention this, at level 15 you get to select a second mastery. I will explain further once we get to that point, and I will explain the masteries in a bit. But basically you can choose 2 masteries as you go through the game. So those were 2 of my main playstyles, nature and earth, to be this magical caster who relies on allies to take summoned allies to take aggro off of him and just use spells to deal damage. And another was warfare and defense, which basically was go through everything, kill everything, this sort of thing. Rogue, I also remember fondly, is very fun mastery, gives you a wide variety of approaching enemies, has quite a bit of utility and this sort of stuff. But for now, at level 15 we'll come across the choice of choosing a second master, which will be most probably a huge choice for me. I have no idea where I want to take this character, and I figure we'll figure that out once I get a feel on what the Dream Mastery is. But right now I will be playing with the Dream Mastery. And now basically every level gives you 3 skill points you can use. First, in order to access any abilities, any passive, active, any effects that the mastery provides, you have to level up the mastery itself. So basically you have 32 levels of mastery, and you can level them up as fast as you want, as slow as you want. You get 3 points and you can use them however you want. It's not tied in any way to your level, so you're not bound to having the mastery level on your level. You can go beyond, you can just keep adding your levels into this. But what this does is passively increase your statistics based on what the mastery is all about, so to speak. So this mastery, I will undo our changes. You can undo your last changes, and if you choose a mastery and want to undo your mastery, assuming you've not spent any points, you can do that as well. You can choose another one, read through the skills, go through them, see if you like them. But we're going with Dream. And basically, in order to access certain abilities, you have to spend enough points in the mastery itself before you can access the abilities. And as you can see, the first level of the Dream Master will grant me 2 strength, 2 intelligence, 35 health and 8 energy, so I assume this will be a sort of strength caster class. so maces, hammers, large, slower weapons, and aiding that with certain abilities. So I have to spend at least 1 point in order to gain access to those skills. Now, first skill, Sands of Sleep, puts enemies to sleep, rendering them immobile for a duration or until awakened by an attack. This might be useful for crowd control, but I don't think I will choose that right now. Psionic Touch. Psionic energy focused within your weapons will create a bone-shattering response when they contact your enemies. Apply these skills to your left mouse button. So basically, not all, but quite a few of the masteries have a skill like this, which even the tooltip says you should apply this skill to your left mouse button. Basically, this is the skill that you use instead of your basic attack. This becomes your basic attack. And on the first level, it has 3 charge levels, so a thing that you're most probably used to by now if you're playing a lot of games like MOBAs, like slasher games, and even some action RPGs. Basically, this is the free hit mechanic, which gains an additional effect on every third or fourth in some cases, but I believe 3 charge levels means that you hit someone 1-2 times, and on the third hit you deal 30% total damage additional and 15... Sorry, my cat is currently whining, he's not being pet, so that will probably come out in the audio. I will take care of him so he'll not bother us. But basically this skill will cause the third attack, every third attack, to deal additional 30% damage and 15 vitality damage. I'm not sure what that means, but 30% total damage increase sounds incredible. And the last skill we have access to with spending just 1 point in the mastery is Distortion Wave. A wave of force is projected outward that forms chaotic ripples in the fabric of reality and delivers devastating damage to the body and mind of enemies. So it costs 36 energy. As you can see, this skill has no cost because this is your basic attack. It costs you nothing to use. It costs 30, deals 10 damage, and enemies are slowed. So that might be nice for some AoE damage and crowd control, but right now I think I will take this skill. And so if I want to access any of the above abilities, I have to put 4 skill points into the mastery tree itself, and then 10, 16, 24, 32 in order to access the other. The square skills are active skills, which you use when you want and spend something, assuming it costs you your energy. And the round abilities are passive abilities, which just do something on their own. Just because you have them leveled up, they will give you some benefits. Or if they're linked like this with another ability, then they affect the ability they are linked to in some way. So for example, if I will put 10 points into the mastery itself, I will gain access to Psionic Burn. Psionic energy within the target ignites and explodes outward, burning through their material being and inflicting severe damage to adjacent targets. So basically this will add an AoE damage effect to our basic attack skill. But right now I will level this up further to get 36 total damage and 19 vitality damage, whatever that means, we'll find out soon enough. And that's it for leveling up here. Also, since this mastery seems to give me strength and intelligence, that will be what I will focus on in my attributes, just to not fall behind, because you can go with dexterity and still be alright, but you will not be able to use, most probably won't be able to use more powerful weapons you find or armor items such that will require just a very high for example, strength or intelligence, which without taking advantage of the mastery granted attributes, you won't be able to reach at certain points. So I will put 1 point into strength, which gives us 4 attribute points, and I will put 1 point into health, which gives us 50 health points. And that's it for leveling. I will go kill a couple more enemies, and then I think that after our first boss I will end this episode. Right now I forgot to put the skill and the... So basically here is my attack, basic weapon attack, and I will change that to Psionic Touch. And now our basic attack should have an additional effect. Here we see the ability build up, but only the third attack will actually do something. So here, no, every fourth. So it charges 3 charges, means it gets 3 charges and the fourth attack discharges in order to have an additional effect. As you can see, we make a little explosion and our enemy goes off into a nice ragdoll animation, going over the place. Now this is the boss. I will just rush him because he's the most dangerous enemy. I also, what I did over there with this redstone, nice hiding there, with the redstone over there, I basically used a shrine that regenerated my health in order to go over here. We got an achievement. As I said, I haven't played this version yet, so while I have played the game itself before, this is semi-blind. I don't know of any of the changes. I'm not aware what the expansion does to the basic game, if it does anything.
You can't carry anymore.
As you heard, my character inventory is full. Inventory management is a big thing in this game. Later on you get pouches, you can expand your inventory basically. Right now let's see if we have anything that's more powerful than what we're using. Not really, or it requires a higher stat or level. Excuse me, my voice is... my voice is dying.
You have no more room. You can't carry anymore.
So yeah, as you saw, some items I can take, some I can't, due to the inventory management system. Regeneration Shrine basically regenerates everything you have. And now, because if you remember, I used that stone portal back at the city, I can use the portal stone and teleport back to Heros. That was the Satyr leader that the Diomedes over here wanted us to kill, so we're going to tell him that the job is done.
Powerful shaman? Astounding! Your victory today is great.
I took a sip
but
of
I
my
feel
tea,
there will be more
and
monsters tomorrow.
I'm afraid this
At
will
least there
be
is enough of the harvest left to
the
feed
end
us
of the
all.
episode. We defeated the shaman. I talked a little bit about what I wanted to do with this game,
What suits your
how
fancy?
I will approach it. Now I will sell everything I don't need. So, everything. As you saw a pop-up over here,
Until
we
next
have our
time.
quests. Now we have to find a Spartan general Leonidas, one you probably heard of. As I said, this game is very deeply set in various mythologies. First act is in Greece, in ancient Greece, which is awesome. I love Greece mythology, and I also love Egyptian mythology, which the second act is based on, but we'll get to that when we'll get to that. Right now,
Welcome.
I will be buying some more potions, since those are very important with health regeneration as low as that.
Until next time.
And with our single level gained and one quest done, I will be saying farewell to all you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.